This is the 5-image story by Victoria Sadronsky on air pressure and wind. The cause of wind initially is because of the uneven heating of Earth's surface. With the warmth that is in the tropical regions and the cool temperatures coming from the polar regions, the Earth tries to regulate the air by using the atmosphere to transfer warm air that is near the equator into the cool air, and the cool air that is near the poles to the warm air, creating wind. This is known as the global heat transfer. Air pressure in the atmosphere causes wind. Rising air comes from the zone known as the equatorial low. Hot air rises and pushes the cold air out. Where the hot air was before, the cold air comes in to replace it. This causes wind to move typically from colder air to warmer air. This means that air typically rising in regions towards the equator and is sinking in areas towards the poles. In the northern hemisphere, winds blow clockwise in an area around high pressure and counterclockwise in low pressure. Air typically rises in regions towards the equator and starts sinking at about 30 degrees north or south. This refers to the idea of the Hadley cell. This creates the polar cells that come from the polar region because of the sinking air that comes in. The Ferrel cells are between the two and is what completes the circulation by the interaction between the three cells. The Coriolis effect causes trade winds to produce in the atmosphere. What is happening is that the Coriolis effect causes the winds to deflect to the right because of the Earth spinning. The other winds that weren't created into trade winds are deflected into the mid-latitudes, creating the westerly winds. Air circulation impacts the climate in all parts of the world. The circulation over the ocean comes from high-pressure cells in the subtropics and low pressure over the subpolar regions. The Hadley cell sinking in the latitudes of 30 degrees north and south causes the desert areas of that region. In areas where there is low pressure, where the air is rising, there is more precipitation. In the opposite way, where there is a region of high pressure and the air is sinking, there is less rain and more desert areas because of the sinking air, and this causes evaporation. La Niña and El Niño impact weather all over the globe. El Niño happens when the trade winds slow down and it creates warm weather that affects the jet stream. This causes flooding and storms in some parts of North America and dry and warm climate in others. La Niña triggers winter weather over the northern plains because of the reaction with the trade winds picking up, and it causes cold weather in the Pacific Northwest and leads to drought in the southern U.S. Together, these two events can influence extreme weather all over.